これから先週以上に残念なところを見た。
Is it very disappointing, including the injuries and more disappointing than the previous game?
Yeah, I think before the season started we had a lot of injuries, and then last week we lost another 5 or 6. Yeah, so the injuries really affect any team. I mean, there's lots of teams in the Super Rugby that have got lots of injuries, and I think I said last week we're going to get more injuries as the season goes on. But in terms of depth, you know, we're really struggling a little bit at the moment, and also to key players. So that's a real tough thing to be able to handle in the first 10 minutes. So I think we lost three backs, first 5'8", our winger, so Toku on the wing, he's a flanker. He did a good job too, guys. Like I thought he had a really good. In fact, his physical presence and the whip actually saved us a couple of times. So, but yeah, look, you know, you lose key people after each week, and it's really hard to come back from that.
Set piece though, you do have some control over, and early on there were 3 or 4 lineouts that you lost when you were in attacking positions. Is that a sort of cause of concern heading into a tough tour of South Africa? Oh yeah, no, I think you're right. I'm not sure I have any control over throwing the ball in there, but I think the set piece mistakes in the line disappointing because we train really well, and you're right, like in terms of executing, so we get a first line out, we create a penalty, we get into the 22, we really want to capitalise on that advantage, and then we have a small mistake in the line out, so you have to give a lot of credit to the Rebels. You know, they're a big line out, a lot taller than us, and they've got a lot of pressure on our line out, and yeah, they got the dividends from that, so that's a disappointing, that's a really disappointing thing for me because I'm responsible for the line out. But that's Super Rugby as well, sometimes that happens. I think what we need to do when that happens is to keep it simple and to get some momentum back in the game, and I think that's an area where we've just talked about it really, as amongst the leaders, is that when we're having a hard time, say for example from the line out, that maybe we just need to create some momentum, win the ball somewhere, get back into the game. And that's what we were able to do quickly.
Haru played well from when you came on. And then Leachy playing well. His debut. How do you evaluate those two players?
I haven't really had a good chance to evaluate those two players. If I talk about their responsibilities in the field, Leachy the line out. So you make your own judgments from that, and then with Haru around control of the game. So in fairness to Haru, and I think where Nagare-san has talked about, you know, the changing of roles when your first 5'8" goes off early in the game is a major blow for the team, and then a player who's really at number 12 coming into the first 5 role and then having to control and run the whole game. On attack, I thought he was well. I thought he did well. On defence, I thought he has to improve. You know, so he's a key member of the team. He's a very experienced and very skillful player. But yeah, I thought for him it was some good, some bad. 3 players were knocked out. 3 key players. The Timna Faili was severely concussed, as was Aki Yamada and Sam White. So I mean, those sorts of injuries are really good injuries. They're really they're starting to become more common in Super Rugby, which then I guess reflects just how physical the game is. And in our case, I think a lot of it's to do with our under preparation. So Super Rugby teams having 2.5 months to prepare, getting bigger and stronger. Clearly, the side this week and last week were a lot bigger than us, and so when it comes to collisions, like it did last week and this week, you know, we're coming off second best. So I think that's a cause for concern for us as a group, because you know the season just gets going now. It's very tough.
こう負けてしまっているというところがあったと思います。なのでこれが継続的に起こっていくとかなり苦戦されると思います。
I think that's why this little man on my left is such an important and strong player, because he tends to handle everything that's thrown at him.
だからこそこう流れ、こうちっちゃいですけれども、キャプテンとして非常にこう大事な、選手なわけです。なぜかというと、どんな試合や何をこうぶつけられても全部答えてくれるから。
They tended to try and put a kick through the defence. They tended to kick rather than hold on to possession. Was that a tactic that you were trying for the guys to employ?
Yeah, that was some space that we saw during the week in terms of the Reds match. They go very hard, and all their numbers are inside the line. The Rebels, there's space in behind, and you can, I think, Nagare-san put a couple of good kicks in behind that really isolated Guinea, and so they were putting a lot of high balls on top of us. They were winning that battle in the air, which is putting us under a lot of pressure. So a lot of box kicks from Guinea, a lot of their 11 and 14 very tall men, their 15 very tall men, Debrasini, their 10, 6 foot 2 very tall fellows, and so the aerial battle was won by the Rebels. So we knew that was coming, and we just had to deal with it as best as possible. But then we were able to do the same thing. I thought we found some space. There was 2 or 3 times there where we isolated their back 2 or 3, and then we should have scored a couple as well. There was times where we chipped in behind, regathered the ball, and we just one pass from being under the post. So Super Rugby, you've got to take those opportunities. We obviously didn't today, and it's a little bit disappointing.